Well, hey there, guys. Welcome. Today we are going to talk about relationships. Yes, this is a brand new podcast. And, you know, the thing is this relationships are not like you know, some magical thing that we can figure out overnight. Every relationship is different. Every relationship has its own rules and its own logic. But when you mix some craziness with it, it is just out of this world. Relationships. Well, the other day I was speaking to a client of mine. She contacted me because she was like just thinking to herself, why did this guy disappear? It's one of the big things, right? Someone stops messaging you. Someone has been in contact with you for a while, showing you all the signs, and all those signs we're going to go through today. What happens when they stop messaging you? Well, this client, she said to me, the moment I picked up the phone, she's like, Cerise, I contacted a psychic and I asked the psychic to do a spell on him. And I said, do a spell on him for what? She's like, I don't know, and I'm not sure it's going to work. And I'm like, you're not sure it's going to work? I can tell you right now, it is not going to work. Because no human being has the power to be able to change someone else's life. Listen, we can't even lead a horse to water. How are we supposed to lead a man to a woman? And if that was so, if spells and voodoo and obia and all that stuff was actually real, then people would be doing it all the time. You know how many people want to fall in love with Obama? How many people want to fall in love with, Brad Pitt back in the day? I'm kind of aging myself right now, but back in the day, all the ladies wanted Brad Pitt. Or even back in the day, just all these stars, people would be going around the world, going to these psychics and saying, yeah, can you please make this person fall in love with me? Thank you. Yeah, yeah. And I want it to last forever. Thank you. Yeah. That stuff doesn't even work. And I said that to her. I'm like, what in what universe would make you believe that a human being could make somebody else fall in love with you? Listen, the mind is a very powerful thing, and it's a very beautiful thing. But you don't have control over mine, and I don't have control over yours. No spell in this world can make you do something that you don't want to do. There are so many minds out there that are stubborn and they cannot be controlled. So this woman, this is what she said to me. Well, I don't know what to do then, because I told her all that. And I said, listen, put your power in God, not in some person trying to make spells. And she's like, well, I tried to do that, and we were doing really well together. He was awesome. Everything was beautiful. He was calling me every day. We were talking every day. And it seemed like the relationship was really unfolding. And I said, well, that's nice. It's a good beginning to a healthy relationship. When a man is showing you that attention, he likes you. When he is contacting you in the morning before you even open your eyes, when he's messaging you throughout the day, asking you how your day is going, and also messaging you at night to see if you ate well or if you had a wonderful day, he cares. He's giving you his attention. That's beautiful. It means he's interested, right? This is what he was doing for her. And she was like, Cerise, it was so beautiful in the beginning. And I said, okay, well, what happened? She's like, well, it was a couple of months after, and he told me he wanted to be my only one. So I said to him, okay, let's do it. And I said, all right, that sounds all right. Then, sometimes it only takes a couple of months to get passionate and know that the person who you're talking to is the one. Sometimes it takes a little longer. There's never a time limit on love. So I said, okay. And then what happened? She's like, well, after the 2 months, I noticed some changes. And I was like, oh, okay. And what did you say? She's like, well, I started to tell him that I need him to smarten up. I need him to start calling me more. I need him to start giving me attention again like he once did. right away, my bells went off in my head, and I'm like, this man is pulling back. That means he's losing interest. Or, not always. It doesn't always mean that he's losing interest. Come on. Sometimes people are having financial difficulties. Sometimes if they have children from other relationships, they're having situations with the ex that could be really bothering them. Sometimes people fall into a depression. But for the most part, when things are going cool and everything is copacetic, and you know that you like him and you know he likes you, and all of a sudden there's a pullback, and the relationship was so strong before, and he's not giving you any excuses or any identifiers as to why he's pulling back. Because, if the relationship is that strong, a man is going to come to you and he's going to be like, hey, baby, it was a bad day today. My ex, she did this. Or, hey, baby, today wasn't all that great. My boss did this. Or, hey, you know what, baby? It's just, I'm a little overwhelmed right now because, bills are piling in and finances aren't really adding up. When you're in a good relationship like that, men aren't always vocal about their downfalls, but most times when you are connected, they will give you some type of indicator, some type of indication that things are a little twisted in their world right now. They may not give you the full deal, real deal, Holyfield. The reason why is because sometimes men are a little embarrassed, especially when it comes to finances, or especially when it comes to something that they feel they are being less than, so that does happen. But you will still get an indicator, and you can still say, hey babe, was everything okay? And he'll be like, yeah man, it was just a bad day today, babe, I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. But that wasn't happening in this situation. She was noticing that he was pulling back, and she started to say to him, is everything okay? And he's like, yeah, everything's good, And she's like, okay, are you losing interest? He's like, no, 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 I'm busy. And she was like, okay, and then he pulled back completely. And then, he started to tell her that he was going to come over, because she messaged him and she's like, I miss you. I really want to see you. Can you just come see me? And he's like, oh, I'm going to try tomorrow. Just let me try. She messaged him. He didn't message her all day. She messaged him and she's like, are you coming today? And he's like, oh, I just can't. Something came up. And she's like, is everything all right? And he's like, yeah, I have work early in the morning and I'm really tired and other things, it's just a busy day. So let me give you a call back, and I'll call you later. I'm just in the middle of something right now, but I'll call you later. And he didn't call her later. So a man that is having financial difficulties or some type of a, depression or whatever, he still will try to at least reach out that night and say, hey, baby, I'm going to sleep. Sorry, I didn't call you. I love you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Well, he didn't even message her. The next day, when he would usually, message her in the mornings, at this time, he wasn't messaging her for 2 weeks straight in the mornings, and in her gut, she felt like something was going on. She felt like there was just something, when you get that vibe. Then she messages him in the morning around 11 o'clock because she didn't get his morning wake up call or his morning wake up text. And she messages him around 11. She's like, hey, what's up? Like, speak to me. Is everything all right? And he's like, yeah, I'm just tired today, and I was tired last night. Let me give you a shout later. And he didn't message her for the rest of the day. So she decided she was going to go to a psychic and get the psychic to put a spell on him. Guys and ladies, this doesn't work. If somebody is not paying attention to you, it's because they don't want to. Now, all of those signs may be there from the very beginning. You know, the signs of communication. He's communicating with you all the time. And then the signs where he is making time to see you, even though he's busy. The signs that he's asking you, you know, how your day was. He's checking in on you. He's making sure you are A-okay. When that all stops and nothing is going on in his life that's negative, he's pulling away. Now, she said to me, but he was showing me all the signs. How long was he showing you those signs for? Was my question. And she's like, well, 2 months. That's not long enough. A man can show you all the signs every single day for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. But after 90 days, if he's not showing you those signs any longer, chances are those feelings are gone. He's pulled away. He's lost interest. And she said to me, how can I get him back? How can I hold on to him? How can you hold on to him? That is the biggest question right there. Well, maybe she didn't do anything wrong. You know, maybe he just lost interest in her. It doesn't mean that her sex wasn't great. It doesn't mean that her personality was off. It doesn't mean she wasn't making enough money. It doesn't mean that she wasn't pretty enough. Not at all. It could just mean that he lost interest. Human beings lose interest for all different reasons. I mean, I'm pretty guilty of that myself. You know, I could just be like, I didn't like the way he chewed food. Or, you know, I don't like the way, well, actually, I'm not that guilty because I'll love anyone. I don't care if their size, their stature, their income. As long as they're good to me, I'm going to be good to them, you know. But there are some people out there who are just kind of picky. And I don't think he was necessarily picky either. He's living in the basement of his ex-wife's house. His ex-wife. He's living in her basement. So that has got to put a lot of pressure on somebody. First of all, number one. Now imagine you're living in the basement, then you have this new girlfriend just 2 months in complaining to you constantly that you need to pick up the pace, that you need to start doing better, that you need to start calling more. And you realize as a man, I'm dealing with the life that I have. I don't need 2 wives at this moment. I don't need to be getting over one wife and getting right back in the midst of another one. You get what I'm saying? So ladies, listen. Keeping a man around is not about doing it after he stops calling you. It's about doing you and being real and true to your character from the moment you met him, during the relationship. And if he chooses to back off and back away, then you just need to be patient and wait for either him to come back or for God to replace him and put someone else in your life. Don't beg for him. Don't go get a spell. That doesn't even work because then you're spending your money on something that doesn't even make sense. You know? Just calm down, cool your jets, and relax. If this guy likes you enough, he's going to accept you for you. If he doesn't like you enough, he's going to continue to put you on the back burner and then eventually put you away from the stove completely. Okay, and you will feel it. You will know it. There's no sense in calling him and begging him and telling him how he needs to behave. None of that is going to work. He may listen to you. Some guys will. Some guys will actually block you and just be like, girl, I don't even want to have anything to do with you. Some guys, they will listen to you because they'll give you the time of day and they'll think you're a nice person and they just don't want to hurt you. They can tell that you caught feelings and they don't want to hurt you. So they're just kind of just dangling you along until you lose interest because they don't want any problems and they don't want you going off the deep end. Some women, they go off the deep end. They try to hurt themselves or they try to hurt the man or they try to do something on social media that is just so unnecessary. So the men will be like, oh, it's all right, I'm just tired, or I'm just, busy, or let me give you a call back. Those are all signs that he's not interested. He's not making time for you. He's not investing in you any longer the way he did in the beginning. And he's definitely not trying to be consistent with you in any way possible. So when it comes to that point, that's pretty much it. For you to try to clean up the pieces that have shattered doesn't make sense. For you to try to say that you want to change who you are at that point doesn't make sense. If he doesn't like you for who you are, then who you are is not meant for him. Who you are is meant for someone else. You don't need to change yourself. Now, of course, during the relationship, if you know that you were just way over the top and demanding and controlling, and you were just always the one that was a nag, then you could try your last ditch attempt and say to him, hey, I do feel you pulling back, and I just want to let you know that I think I had a wake-up call, and if there's anything that I can do to bring you back by just kind of not being that nag any longer, let me know. If your feelings are still there, but you're just tired of my nagging, give me a chance to kind of work things out with myself. It's an internal thing, and I'm working on it. He might say, you know what, all right, let's try to work it out. Or he may say, no, it's not you, I'm just busy. I'm just doing me right now, That just means he's done. When a man still wants you and he still wants to deal with you, and you come at him correctly because you know you've done something to push him away, and you try to make a deal with him to say, hey, give me a moment to fix things up, and he still wants you, he will do it. He will make sure that he fixes things up. He will make sure that he waits for you. He will be patient. He will start to call you again, and he will be a rebound. Like, he'll rebound right back to how he was, like an elastic. And he'll be like, hey, baby, and he'll try to give you that chance. If he doesn't try to give you that chance, it's not happening. He is not interested. He may even say to you, and if he says this, then you're very fortunate. He may even say to you, hey, I am pulling back a little bit, and it's not really you. It's just I don't think we're meant to be together. I just feel that we're not suited for each other. I really like you. I think you're an amazing woman. You're intelligent, you're beautiful, you're funny, but I feel that we're just not compatible enough to be in a relationship. And when he says that, love it, respect it, honor it. He's a good guy, and he's keeping it real with you. 100%. And you just have to collect your losses, not even losses, but just collect your pride, carry on, and move on. That's it. Don't make a bigger deal out of it than what it is. It's not death. It's not anything except a disappointment because you had your hopes up high. Move on. Learn from the lesson. If there's something about you that you did in that relationship that turned him off, don't do it in the next relationship, because people are people, and most people don't like to be nagged. They don't like to be picked apart. They don't like to be beat down. So if that was something that you were doing with him, and he kind of admitted it to you, then you know that there's something in you that you need to change in order to keep the next person, especially if it's somebody that you really cared for. Sometimes women, they will beat a man down because they're not really into him, and they're only picking apart everything about him because they're trying to build him up to be the person that they will be interested in. And then sometimes that man, he skedaddles because he can tell that she's just not into him. And all of a sudden, when he's gone, she starts missing him, right? So that's another thing. If you're that type of woman and that's what happened, then don't beg and bother. That he just wasn't for you. You knew it. You were picking at him because you just weren't that interested. Leave him be. Now that he's gone, let him go. He has his pride. Let him move on. But again, back to my first point, if you know that you really liked him and he was amazing and awesome for you, and you were just like, yo, I love this guy, and you lost him because you were nagging and complaining, learn from it and move on. Especially if it's a relationship that was very short-lived. A lot of men, they don't want to be nagged. A lot of men, they just want to know that they are providing and protecting, and they are there 100% for their woman, and their woman is loving them like a king. Their woman is making them feel like royalty. And that's what a man wants. Even though a man may say to you at first, oh, baby, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm going to change. I'm going to change. And he starts changing and doing everything that you want him to do. And then all of a sudden, boom, he boomerangs and he's not giving you that any longer. That is the moment where he has decided that you're not the one for him. Don't beg him. This one client, she said, what can I do? Do you think he'll come back to me like in about a year from now? And I'm like, no, there's no, well, there's no, it's not impossible. It could be that he, runs around the ring and meets this woman and meets that woman, and then figures out that most women are that he's meeting and most women that he attracts are that type of woman. And then he wants to go back to my client. That's possible. But I said to her, chances are he is just going to put the relationship with you at rest. It's only been 2 months. He's going to collect himself back up, and he's going to carry on, and he's going to find himself somebody. And I said, be his friend. Don't kick him to the curb just because you're feeling like he's kicking you to the curb. Be his friend. That's one way that you can show a man that you have pride, that you have dignity. Still be his friend. You don't need to block him. You don't need to hate him. You don't need to yell at him or talk bad about him or even torment him on social media or around your friends. All you have to do is say, all right, it didn't work out. But hey, still be his friend. If you like him that much, then check in from time to time and say, hey, how you doing? Remind him about the qualities that you have that he was attracted to in the beginning. If you get worse after he breaks up with you, he's just going to be like, oh, I'm so glad that I left her. But if you get better and you're just kind of cool, maxing and relaxing, and you're still a great woman, then he may say, you know what? I'd like to give her a chance again. And the possibilities of that are usually slim, but they're still possible. Okay? So I just want to say to you, don't look at trying to get a man back when everything is done and over with. You don't need to do that. Look at it like you are going to get you back. You are going to rebound for you. You are going to love you. Don't go to psychics and get some spells done. That's ridiculous. It doesn't even work. You're just spending your money, and you might as well just go throw it away. Go burn it, or just go give it to someone. It's so ridiculous. I don't want to say she's silly. I mean, she was grasping for straws and she was trying her hardest, but that's not going to work, ladies. An attitude adjustment works. A character check works. And at the end of the day, if you know you did good and you did your best, you know what works after that? Saying, bye-bye. I'm good enough for me. If I'm not good enough for you, I will meet the person that I'm good enough for. And that's it. Don't beg and don't barter. Don't barter your personality, and don't beg for anything or anyone. Just be true to who you are. So when the question comes up, how can I make him come back to me? Be true to yourself. Be a friend. Be sweet. Be honest. Be real. How do you attract a bee? You have to be like honey. That's the only way. So at the end of the day, no more acting strange. No more putting down expectations and rules, and you're nobody's boss. You're nobody's ruler. You are nobody's anything. If you want to be a lover, then you have to sit back and relax. And that's about it. Thank you so much for joining me in this podcast, How Do I Get Them Back? And I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah. Take care of yourself. I'm Cerise. Make sure you subscribe if you like this content, and also share the video, like it, comment down below where you're watching this from. And if you have any advice, put that down below as well. Take care, guys.